How's it going, PengPirates Crew? It's Adrian here, and we're back with another video. So today we got some really cool news about the new structure deck that's coming out in July for Japan. For us, this is going to be way in the future, but this is one of the coolest products we've ever seen before. For those of you that don't know, this structure deck includes 3 different leaders. They're all red and purple leaders, and then it also includes a constructed deck of 50 cards. And then I think they're calling this like an ultimate deck. So this is a really new product that we didn't really know a lot about, but with some new leaks that just came out today and some new translations from Rocco D from Discord, we now know a little bit more about this product because the leaders just got leaked today. So let's just get right into it, peer really far into the future and see what this game has in store for us, starting with Luffy. So Luffy is probably one of the most unique leaders we've ever seen before. Like I said before, all of these leaders are going to be red and purple, which is a combination that we haven't seen before. But as you can see, Luffy is a 6,000 power leader, just like Whitebeard, but unlike Whitebeard, he actually has half of the life. So a 6,000 power 3 life leader is something that's super interesting. Of course, it is going to be a lot easier to defend your life, but starting the game behind 2 life compared to a normal leader might be a very huge drawback that you might not be able to come back from. Of course, in this case, time will tell how good that is. But in my opinion, it's just going to be so difficult because you're seeing less cards throughout the game when you get hit, at least with Whitebeard, right? You are at kind of a lesser life pool since you're losing life every turn, but you also have an easier time defending because you pretty much have 6 cards that you can pull from on top of your opening hand, making it a lot easier for you to gain card advantage throughout the game. This is the opposite of that, where you're going to want to defend your life pretty aggressively. And on top of that, when you do get hit, you only have 3 more cards to fall back on, giving you less resources throughout the game. And then on top of this, he also has the added effect of once per turn during your main phase, if your board has 0 Dawn or your board has 8 or more Dawn, you could add 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as active. So this leader actually has like on the spot ramp, just like Blurple Kaido does. And it's basically for free, but those conditions are very specific. And this is really going to be a leader that's defined by the cards that are in the structure deck, because as it stands right now, you don't really want to be at 0 Dawn. And if you're at 8 Dawn, you've kind of ramped almost all that you need to. I guess a good applicable thing to do at 8 Dawn would just be to cheat out something that's 9. But yeah, we can't really talk about how good this leader skill is because we don't really know if anything in the structure deck synergizes with this. As of right now, I don't think the cards we have in format make this leader skill particularly strong. When those cards come out, we'll go ahead and talk about them, but Luffy, regardless, is looking like one of the most unique leader skills that we're going to see in the game, and I hope they keep playing around with the different power numbers and, life totals for everything, because I think it's really cool that we get a huge diversity of leaders like this. And then, of course, this is the 3 captains, so we got to talk about EUSTASS Kid. He is also going to be a red-purple leader, but this time he's going to be at 5,000 power. On top of that, he's also going to have 5 life. And this leader is super cool because he's another dual color leader that is allowed to be at 5 life, but then of course he's going to come with a downside. So during your turn, if you have 4 or more life, this leader is going to have minus 1,000 power. So I like the direction they're going with this because from what I've heard for OP04, the fact that you can't attack with Vivi and Rebecca is actually still very much of a problem in that deck. And then of course in OP3, we know that Iceberg has had almost no success competitively because it is such a huge downside not to be able to attack. So the fact that Kid can attack is actually a huge upside. Of course, you are only going to be at 4,000 power on your turn, but that's still infinitely better than not being able to use your leader at all, especially since you're not going to be at this 4,000 power throughout the whole game, right? Once you are at 3 life, you are allowed to swing for 5k, which is nice. And then on top of that, he has the effect of when attacking, you could return 1 Dawn to your Dawn deck, and then this leader is going to gain plus 2,000 power for this turn. That last turn part makes me think that you might be able to restand Kid, because to me it doesn't really make sense to specify during your turn instead of just for this battle. So I do have a suspicion that there are going to be cards that are able to restand Kid so that you'll be able to swing. So you'll be able to swing, get that plus 2,000 power, and then restand and then swing again to get another plus 2,000 power maybe for game. So that might be a little bit interesting. All in all, I think this leader is pretty solid. In terms of dual color leaders at 5 life, this is probably one of the most flexible ones that we've seen. It doesn't have as big of an upside as Vivi or Rebecca where you're just gaining like a lot of card advantage, but the fact that you could run red and purple cards and still be at 5 life and still swing with your leader, this leader has a lot of huge upsides that might be extremely helpful depending on what the cards are in this structure deck. And again, I really think that we are going to be able to restand this leader so we could get multiple plus 2,000s from the when attacking effect, because it just feels a little bit weird to me that they specify during your turn instead of for the battle. And then of course, we're saving the best for last. We got Trafalgar Law. Again, he's going to be a red-purple leader. He's kind of on the side of what we've seen before, right? He's going to be a dual color leader with 4 life. So he has an activate main effect once per turn. You could return 3 of your Dawn, and then you're going to return 1 of your opponent's cards with 3000 power or less to the bottom of the deck, and then you're going to get to play 1 4 cost or lower character from your hand. If I'm being honest, this card looks absolutely insane. Bottom decking is the most efficient way to remove something, because usually red will KO something, and then of course if it's something like a Marco or something like a Parasparrow, they get an on KO effect, they get an added effect. But you being able to bottom deck something is super important. That thing is going to be off the board. They really can't get access to it back. And then on top of that, having consistent removal in your deck in the form of your leader skill is really busted, especially in red, because a lot of the time when you want to do those cool combos like with Otama, you have to have 1 card to reduce its power and then another card as your removal card. With Law, you only have to have the 1 card to reduce its power, and then you could remove it with your leader skill. And then on top of that, you get to play a character for free. And there's just a ton, and I mean a ton, of different applications for this. You know, you could play something like a Gordon or a Tama to reduce the power of something, go ahead and bottom deck it, and then like play something like a Rush Zoro on top of that. And again, we don't even know the cards that Law specifically is getting in the structure deck to support this leader skill, especially if there's some sort of consistent Dawn ramp where you could use this leader skill very often. You're going to be able to get tons of value throughout your turns when you use this. So all in all, I'm just super excited for these new leaders, and I'm even more excited to look at what the cards are in the actual structure deck. But yeah, as of right now, I think Law is probably the leader with the most potential out of all the ones that we've seen today. But let me know what you guys think. Do you see yourself playing any of these leaders? How do they make you feel looking at them and looking at, you know, kind of the future of the game? And of course, thank you for watching. Good luck in any of like your school or your career, anything you're doing, and I'll see you on the next one.